artists are people that are like that dye their hair red and green and
Right.
like wear like wristbands and like have got like it's like the girls, like the teen girls, like the cute like kind of
Like you think you can look at somebody and say, "Oh, she'll be."
oh,
a
but
fan.
I already know, but I
Right.
can't do that. But then there are some people that slip through the net. I'm like, what do you know? How do you?
Does
know
it
what
seem
I'm
like it's happening more?
So that's one example. But every artist has fans, they just haven't met them yet, right? And so your students want to become and be able to actually say, oh, I know what this person looks like. For instance, when I was at Madison Square Garden, we had fans come up to buy merch. I know exactly if you're gonna buy a black shirt, a white shirt, a red, if you want a hat, if you want a purse. I know exactly what you want because I understood the psychographics of the fans. This is another good example of the artist Umi. She got signed not too long ago.
Is that my sound is not necessarily based on one sound, it's more based on feeling. There's a consistent feeling you'll receive when you listen to my music, which is a feeling of calm, a feeling of like being and feeling understood. I like to say my music is like eating soup when you don't feel well, or tea when you're cold. Like it's more feeling based, you know? And thank you.
That's a great analogy. My style is like eating soup.
I've never thought.
You felt it though, right?
I'm sold.
I'm still in that.
I'm sold.
About me is that
So that's another really great example of how students should be able to understand, beyond the demographic. Most artists, if you ask them like, hey, who are your demographics? They're like, oh, between 18 and 35 who like pop or who like hip hop. And it's like, well, that's a category, not necessarily a person. So you get a lot of new artists who are just targeting the same crowd and blending in with everyone. So we want to get them to kind of go lean a little bit deeper into the emotion of that fan, to get to a specific scene of when your fan would actually press play to hear your music. And this is just a quick example. People on late night drives who don't want to feel alone. Those are my fans. It was tells you a mindset, a moment, and now you know who actually needs your music. And so the approach is treat your music like a service. And so the question stops being, how do I get fans? And it becomes who actually needs my music? Like who actually needs to hear this? And when do they need to hear this? So here are the 3 steps that we're going to go over today. And this, you can use this with any AI. You can use it with Claude, ChatGPT, or Methods. And we're going to go over how to create the offer, which the artist would name what they do for their fans, a clear value that they bring, into understanding that psychographic and using AI to expand that one line into the real person who actually needs it, and then how to connect with those fans, whether they're trying to get their first 5, 10, 1,500 fans. AI can turn that insight into a creative plan to actually reach them. And different AIs bring something different, right? So Claude can be very thoughtful, nuanced, can be more long form, a little bit more consistent. ChatGPT is really versatile and it's good for like brainstorming and general knowledge. There's so many more amazing ones out there. Then you have Methods as well, which is music specific, built on the music industry, built for artists and customized for fan building with A&R knowledge. And we have a lot of other great capabilities. And so this is how you want to start off, is with the fan offer statement. So I like to say encourage your student to write this themselves so that they can kind of have their original thought as a part of their unique identity. And so this is a formula that I came up with that I typically use for beginner artists. So for what specific fans, I do what specific thing so they can have what desired outcome, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just encourage it to be like their own identity as much as they can. If they need help, they can use AI to help them craft this as well. And so for late night drivers who feel alone, I make warm, lo-fi R&B so they feel like someone's awake with them, right? And so that kind of gives you a moment in time when you're gonna press play on my music. And so you wanna feed this prompt, you wanna feed that prompt into AI, whatever AI you're gonna be using, and expand that into the psychographic. And so now you want to put that in there, and you want to say, take that fan offer statement and expand it into a vivid profile of that fan. their night, their feelings, what they replay, what they search for. And this is just an example inside of Methics, but you can use any AI platform to kind of get your own feedback. And so, for example, Methics actually names the fan, oh, her name would probably be Maya, and she's probably between 24 and 32, lives in a mid-sized city, works a clothing shift at a coffee shop, and she's probably getting off work late, getting in her car, put her Bluetooth on, and she lets a single warm song play all the way through. She keeps the windows cracked a little so the city smells like coffee and rain. And the feeling, Maya's not exactly sad, but she's raw with heavy, small, honest things, like maybe she had missed calls, a conversation that didn't land, a worry about tomorrow. And your music is a companion, and it makes the emptiness that she's having feel less like absence and more like company. So you kind of want to get an outcome like that, right? And then you want to use that prompt, that response to actually prompt you to connect with those fans. And so then you say, use my offer statement and that psychographic to build a fan connection strategy, content visuals, where to show up and how to reach maybe your first 100 fans. And so what happens is, well, in Methics specifically, the AI will read your offer and the persona, and we ask you more questions in Methics because we really want to customize it as much to the artist. Other AIs like Claude and ChatGPT, they may not ask you more questions, but just kind of give you a few different options to choose from. And then, and for example, it would take that and then AI would suggest the actual plan, right? And so for this response, it says like, hey, you can host an intimate tiny desk style show at home or in a coffee shop, and that's your conversion engine. And use that 30-second listening hook that we talked about and that describes that feeling that Maya's in at that moment. And you can use that to start creating your invite list and get people to come to your show. And then turn each of those shows into content, record it with the audience behind you, and follow this plan week by week to actually reach your first 100 fans. And it goes on, and you can keep building from there. But here are the prompts. You guys can screenshot this if you like. Here are the prompts. Step 1, this is your offer. Help me write my fan offer statement that we just went over. And if they need help, of course, use AI to help generate this and make it sharper. And then step 2, understand and take that fan offer statement and expand it to a vivid profile of the fan and what they search for. Step 3, connect that psychographic and that offer statement to build a fan connection strategy, and let AI know what you want to include in those prompts. So how to teach it to your students, just recapping, start with the reframe. Your music is a service, so understand exactly what your offering is to the music industry and to those fans. Let AI amplify it, not replace. So really encourage them, like, bring in an offer as much as you can, and then allow AI to expand it so the thinking stays their original thought. Make it tangible, run all 3 steps live, and your students will leave with a statement, a profile, and a plan. And compare the tools and use the one that works best for you. Any questions?